This is the Superpower Radio Show with your hosts, Brenda Major
Mia Dawson.
and Mia. I hope people know by now that we are podcasters.
Yes, we are.
So, yes, so you can hear us anywhere you get your podcast. You can also watch our show on our
Mhm.
YouTube channel. So, we are I'm going to say, delighted and honored. We have a guest with us today who she's been on our show before.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, but because we have so expanded our audience now,
Yes. Yes.
everybody needs to hear from Dr. Brooklin Gervais. Everybody
Yes.
needs to hear her incredible story. So, listeners and viewers, can you imagine? We normally speak with caregivers of
Mhm.
people who have superpowers, but can you imagine being an advocate for people with superpowers and then suddenly, in an incredible traumatic twist of fate, you become the person with the superpowers who now needs people to advocate for you. And
Yeah.
so, again, we are so honored that Dr. Gervais is back with us. So, welcome back to the Superpower Radio Show,
Thank you.
Brooklyn. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
can you share with our audience? I mean, I gave you kind of a little teaser, but just share with our audience your compelling story of your two lives.
My
Yes.
two lives. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. First of all, it's always a pleasure to be with you, you, Mia, and Brenda. It's a pleasure. So thank you. Um, so I am in the mental health field, and I'm also a children's book author. And having advocated for children with unique needs and superpowers, I like to call them unique powers and special gifts. Um, I actually became an individual who has, I should say,
Mhm.
some unique needs and some special abilities. I was on my way to a holiday party, happy holidays. And this was some years ago. And in the midst of going to the party that I did not want to attend, I was in a car accident.
Wow.
And that car accident left me with traumatic brain injury, with nerve damage on my left side, as well as a stutter, a speech impediment. Um, I did not know initially because the accident was something that, if you just looked at it from the outside looking in, it would be something that was minor, except it was something that
Oh.
turned out to be, yeah, minor. Something that turned out to that we thought was minor was actually something major. When the car hit me, it hit me from
Mm.
behind, and it shook. My brain got shaken in my skull,
Oh
and
my.
so it shook, and it began a whole new life for me where I had to learn how to walk and talk all over again. So
Wow.
the car
So
got
if I had
fixed.
drove past that day, I would have just thought it wouldn't have been that bad.
Correct.
Really?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. Had it not been
Wow.
for the reinforcement bar in the back of my car,
Mm-hmm.
um, it would have been a lot more serious. Everything
Wow.
was cracked in the back, and the guy was going over 50 miles an hour, and I was at a standstill. So
Oh my.
Oh,
it was
My.
wow.
a
That
car,
impact.
and he had a big heavy car, and so my car actually was a good car. You know, it was very sturdy, but my
Yes.
seatbelt locked up and my head slammed, and you
Ah.
know, it became a very interesting journey to be
Mhm.
able to be up and moving around, and then not be able to be up and moving around.
So was it instant? Like could you not feel anything as soon as it happened? Since you said it was minor, did you not feel anything? Was it pretty
Well,
quick?
that that's the interesting thing, and so I started studying the brain.
Okay.
After all of this, I started really looking into um, neurology, as well as memory and TBI and things of that nature. So I got out of the car. Everything stopped. All of the traffic around us stopped. I got out of the car. I felt a little, thought I was okay. Nothing broken, nothing bleeding. But later, within like an hour or two, I started having these real severe headaches. And then I couldn't see. And then the
Oh,
room started spinning. And then there were all of these like orbs and lights. And then I passed out and hit the floor.
Oh my.
oh. So you
And
went
so
home and everything. So you
went
you're
home. Yeah, I was like, oh, well, I'm
wow.
okay. Because
Wow.
you're thinking that if you're in an accident and something is, I think that is what people perceive as something being really major and trying to use a criteria to base what's major and what's minor. If you
Okay.
don't see any blood, if there's no broken bones protruding,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
go
yeah.
home. Drink some
And you could
Robitussin. You'll
walk,
be
right.
fine.
And you could walk. Yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
you don't need to go to the hospital except within 24 to 48 hours, my life changed because I could not walk and I could not speak. That there were CAT scans, MRIs, and everything. And they had told me not to go back to work, but I went anyway. And that was very challenging. They actually then restricted my driving. I got put on medical leave, everything, because I wasn't able to function. And I
Okay.
didn't know that. The MRIs and the CAT scan showed that the tissue in my brain had been pushed around. And
Oh
so
wow.
I didn't know that. And so learning to months and months of intensive therapy, 5 different doctors and specialists, having my own full blown IEP, I
Wow.
and speech therapist.
Wow.
I had to, acclimate to a world that I thought I understood and knew,
Mm.
and to see it from the eyes of those whom I've spent my life serving in mental health and children with disabilities. It was eye-opening. I realized I had some biases that I
Oh.
thought, oh, I'm giving back and I'm doing that. And I realized that I really had no clue. It brought
Oh.
about a sensitivity, is what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
not
no
ashamed to say
kidding. Okay, some revelations. Tell us a little bit about, okay, what was your life before this?
I was thinking that too, Brenda. What was
it.
it like? That's what I was thinking.
My life before this, I've lived a life where there was some wealth and some connections, and I was at
Okay.
the top of my game.
Okay.
I could go anywhere. I've traveled the world. I've studied several languages. I have been involved in different projects, initiatives, and, given speeches and things like that, and public
Mm-hmm.
motivational speaking. And I've done all of those things. And so it's like, hey, I'm at the top of my game. And, I can get donations and money to serve children in under-resourced areas. And so, yeah, this is what I do. Um, and then till I couldn't,
Wow.
Mm.
until I couldn't do that anymore because I couldn't talk and I couldn't use my brain. At least that's what I thought. And I started to just give up. Um,
Mm, mm, mm.
So my life was really different. I was the person, I was the caregiver, I was the one who helped
Mm-hmm.
everyone else. I was the one that you could call and say, hey, can you come and help me do this? Can you speak for my child at an IEP meeting? We need someone to advocate for them. Oh, can you go teach a class at this university or what have you? I thought, you know, I could do all of that, and money was not an issue.
Mm.
And then it became an issue because I lost everything after that, after the car accident.
Goodness.
I lost everything. So I went
Mm,
from
mm.
being here to actually not having anything. No
Mm.
money, no nothing. I had to really reinvent myself.
Seriously, and as you're talking about this, I'm thinking that there are so many people who would just give up. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so
true.
why didn't you?
That's true.
Um, I've never said I did. I mean, I did. There were moments
Well,
where I was on the
I
verge,
mean, but
I guess.
look what you've accomplished since. I mean,
I,
what did
I
that
I
take?
owe that to my higher power. I owe that to the Most High God. I don't know if you believe in God, but I
Oh yeah.
do.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
I
yeah,
owe
we
that
do.
to.
Most like yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
okay. So I owe all that I am to the Most High God, and
Mhm.
I did want to give up. There were many a nights that I cried. Um, there were times I thought I wasn't gonna make it.
Hmm.
I had
Mm.
gotten to the point where I was on public assistance.
Wow.
I
Wow.
wasn't going to be able to get a regular job anymore. And there was a fear that just came over me. But then I realized
Mm-hmm.
that there was
Mm-hmm.
no reason for me to fear. And so there were people in my life that ended up getting X'd out of my life. And
Ah.
so people got removed.
Ah. Uh-huh.
And when I removed those people, I realized that part of my newly found disability was some of those individuals that were in my life.
Okay.
And so I
Wow.
surrounded myself, yeah, because yeah, I surrounded myself with maybe like 2, 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if you count your mom, I guess your mom would be one, right? So
Oh,
so
for
three
sure.
people in my life. And so those 3 individuals actually supported me. And
Okay.
my mother always said, anything is possible. You can do anything. And so overcoming um, speech challenges and being able to
Mhm.
put a sentence together, I think that was the first success that I had.
Mm.
So when I was able to stand up and walk across the street without falling flat on my face, because I've fallen many times in traffic, busy traffic going
Oh
across the
my.
street.
Sheesh.
It was that kind of challenge. So you do want to give up in that sense, but when you have those around you and you have your higher power, anything
Mm-hmm.
that you dare dream to be possible is possible. There isn't
Mhm.
a challenge, a disability, as the world calls it,
Mm-hmm.
that prevents you from being successful. And I had to
Correct.
actually reprogram myself, of course, with CBT, going to
Mm-hmm.
therapy and everything and those support systems. That's why I
Yes.
didn't give up, because I really felt like there was a different direction that I needed to go in. Okay, yeah, I can't do this other thing I used to do every day,
Mm-hmm.
but there's other things that I can do. And the things that I can do, I can do them very well. I still have a brain, I still have an imagination,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to be afraid to do anything that I want to do. So I got a list together and wrote down all the things that I never did that I was too afraid to do. And I just
Mm.
started checking them off one by one. And one was to become a philanthropist and give away money, help
Mm-hmm.
girls, send them to college. Uh, Other things I wanted to do was to have my own children's book series.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do commercials. I just made a list and I just started going down. Money or no money, it didn't stop me. And so that's
Okay.
what I started doing. And then I started getting
Mm.
involved with different community organizations and agencies. And I found myself surrounded by like minded people. That's why I didn't give up, because when I cut those negative ties
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
with
ah.
individuals,
Mm,
there was
mhm.
this light that just happened to just open up a whole new world
Wow.
for me, that showed me that regardless of what my unique ability is, I can be successful and help others to be
Wow.
successful. Excuse me, help children and caregivers be successful.
So this traumatic event that scrambled your brain
Literally.
probably probably jolted the limiting beliefs from your brain. And
I
I
love
actually
that. I love that. Yes.
you know, one other person told me that.
Hmm.
And she didn't put it as eloquently as you just did, but she said, had it not been for that accident, it would never have pushed you forward to do the thing that you were supposed to be doing anyway.
Anyway,
It would not have given you the level of compassion and understanding that children and families need in order to go beyond what they perceive to be impossible.
Yeah. So
So
now,
you didn't want to do philanthropy or write a children's book prior to the accident? Did you thought about that before?
I had thought about it, but it became some of the thing where you're in corporate America and you're wearing
Ah,
these golden handcuffs. And
yeah.
it's
ah,
like, if I get to it, I'll get to it. But
ah,
Mhm.
ah.
It was a
I mean,
whole
I'm
different
making some
life.
good money. I'm making some good money.
Okay.
And then I had
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So that just tells you where your focus should be, right? Because if
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
focusing on something that isn't benefiting others, the people who we keep saying we serve, what are you really doing? And so I really had to do some self introspection because
Mhm.
Mm,
what one can think that they're doing
mm-hmm.
for everyone
Mhm.
um, may be just for yourself.
Mm.
Sometimes we get
Mm,
caught up in our
mm,
own, oh, I'm going to do this and save the world, if you will. You know,
Yeah.
I'm on this
mm-hmm,
plight and this journey and
mm-hmm,
really miss the
mm-hmm.
boat. I mean, all of that's really good. I'm not saying, you know, it's a
Right,
bad
right.
thing. I'm talking about, especially for me, you know, specifically to me, is that I
Mhm.
thought, yeah, I'm doing all of this and I'm plugging away and I'm working 12-hour days and I'm patting myself on the back
Mhm.
and I'm thinking I'm doing all these great things and I think I know, I
Mm-hmm.
know I missed the mark before because I wasn't
Uh,
responding and totally in humility and humbleness and
Mhm.
compassion
ah,
and the love. I
ah.
loved what I did, but was I acting all the time in love? I can't, reflecting back, I don't think that I was. And I think
Mm,
that's where the biases, you know, kind of came in too.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell
wow.
us a little more about some of those biases because
Yes,
this was some serious self-reflection that you did.
it sure was.
Um,
And you're being vulnerable, telling your business right now to
Right.
everybody.
you know, that it's if what I'm saying helps anyone, then
Mhm.
it's not in vain. So it's more valuable to um, share this to let people know that they're just as normal as me,
As
just
you,
like
Mhm.
yep.
Ellie the
Mhm.
elephant and her
Mhm.
incredibly normal friends, you know.
Yeah.
So my biases came in where I think the first recollection of that, my brother and I were at a restaurant and I was
Mhm,
trying to order, and
mhm.
the server was extremely rude to me, and I could not
Mhm.
speak. And
Mm.
my
Ah,
cognition,
okay,
you know, was totally off.
okay.
And so it was one of those days. And I remember thinking at the time, how inconsiderate is that you see I may look like, oh yeah, you know, she's a
Mhm.
normal person, she can speak,
Mhm, mhm.
but you hear me struggling and you don't care.
Mm.
Oh,
And I remember thinking, how many times do we do that? How many times have I done it
Mm.
that
oh,
I wanted someone just to hurry up and get to the end? Just hurry up.
yep.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
get
Facts.
it out.
Tell the truth. Yep. That's the
Mm.
truth.
Just get it out. Because my time is valuable. I don't have time.
Yeah.
And that's
Mm.
what I think one of my biases was, is that I did not allow people the time to be great.
Ah,
Wow.
wow.
I
Wow.
cut their greatness off because I
Mm.
just wanted to rush to the end, get it out. Oh, you're not normal like me. So now there's this layer of judgment. And so all of
Mm,
that came flooding in at the moment when that server at the
mm.
restaurant, hurry up. I got tables. I have things to do.
Wow.
And I just remember the tears forming in my eyes and my brother reaching across going, it's okay. It's
Mm.
okay.
Mm.
It's okay. He was one of the three.
He should have been. He should have been. So Brooklyn, as I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, and again, people can be just human in their
Yes. Yes.
neurotypical mindsets. And
Yes. Yes.
sometimes even parents or caregivers of superpower kids wish they would just snap out of it or just say what you're trying to. Yes, I mean, it's just real. Say what you just say it. Just stop stimming. What boy, just be normal. But
Right.
you now
100%.
have
100%.
entered into this space where you have seen it from both sides.
Yep.
So I know this is a hard question, but what would you tell a parent or a caregiver now that you've journeyed to that other side? You now really understand how difficult it is when you can't articulate what you are thinking
Yep.
and you so desperately want to. What do you tell parents and look, and anybody who encounters somebody with a superpower who
Yep.
just doesn't have that sensitivity?
Um, one of the things I told my mother that the speech therapist told me was, and I started reading books, is that
Mhm.
try not to finish the person's sentence, right? And I really meant that
Oh,
allow them to be great. Because if you have someone that's stimming or you have someone that's trying to engage in a conversation that may be complex for that individual, right? Cognitively complex. We oftentimes don't check our biases at the door, and we sometimes don't even know what those biases look like.
That's
Mhm.
true. That's true.
Because in certain groups, for certain groups of people, what looks normal for that individual and that group isn't necessarily accepted in another group.
That's true.
But what is accepted in both groups, regardless what group you belong to, is kindness.
Amen.
Kindness
That's Brenda's
goes
word.
across
It
all
is.
That is
boards.
Kindness
Brenda's
is my
word.
name. It is.
So if we're kind, if we act in kindness, not the I'm going to treat people who have the way I want to be treated. Not everybody wants to be treated well. Not everybody wants to be treated the way that you want to be
Hey,
treated.
say that. Say that.
So we can't
We
use
need
that
we
as
need to
the
give her an offering.
I'm just saying, we can't use
Yeah.
that as the measuring stick, as the ultimate
Yep.
measuring tool of
Yes.
what kindness is. Why treat people the way I want to be treated? No, sometimes we have to go above that. We have to come outside of ourselves, right? So
Yeah.
once we come outside of ourselves and we act in kindness, we act in love, we act and respond and interact with people with patience and love. Look at the individual with curiosity, a desire to want to do more for them, to support them, because ultimately their success is your success. You are part of them, they are part of you. So that's what I would tell any parent or caregiver when you look at that individual, whomever it is that has a superpower, look to support. And that support isn't like the movies where it's over in an hour and 47 minutes and we're at the happy ending. It's a daily process. Every moment should be a new opportunity to give of yourself.
Wow.
So that you're successful, another person, and others take a little bit longer. Don't put a time frame on it. Don't look for the time in it. Look for the growth in it, the overall growth. And when you celebrate that, it helps you to build that patience with working with individuals like myself that have superpowers, that have cognitive challenges and speech, impediments. And, what did you say? I forgot where are we going? So yeah, that's what that would be my advice to anyone, whether you are uniquely blessed like myself, or you're one of those, average normal people, that don't have these
We don't have
superpowers
time for
like
this.
me and my
Right.
friends.
I think it's very beautiful the way you said desiring to want to have a conversation. Because I think what happens is we're talking, and this is what neurotypical, and we're trying to hurry up. We got you talking, but I really ain't listening to you because I'm thinking about what I'm gonna cook for
Right.
dinner. My
Mhm.
kids can call me, what my husband wants. So you're not engaging anyway. So that's what you're saying. So
Nope.
now you're rushing because like the young lady, the waitress, she thinking about them other 5 tables. She's not really listening
Yep.
to you. So I love
Yep.
that you said desiring to want to listen to what they have to say because
Mhm.
I have done that with my Neo. I'm like, oh my gosh, he has to hurry up because I got to
Yep.
get to we at the time. And he'll tell me, Mom, we have to slow down. And he'll tell
Slow
me,
down.
I have some, and then he can go even slower. I'm like, oh my,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so,
And we
and
live in
every
a society like that, right?
Yeah, it's a hurry up
yes,
society. It is. It
and
is.
at the end of it, he was right because it was no big deal. We
Mhm.
got there. There was not a big deal. If we were a couple minutes late, nobody didn't even say nothing. And so I'm not enjoying. I want to practice that. I'm going to take that tonight to enjoy and
Yep.
desire to enjoy because I think that's not what we're
Mhm.
Yep.
doing. We're just hurrying up so we can get to the next person.
Yeah.
I love that.
Right. And you cut off your fulfillment from that, Mia. You
Yeah.
shortchange yourself. Now you're all frustrated from doing this other thing when you could have just been having a beautiful moment had you just taken just a little bit of 30 seconds.
Mm.
Yes.
Slow down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So Brooklyn, why the Kenna Foundation? And when you started it, were there any fears that you wouldn't be able to communicate effectively what it was that you wanted to do with it?
Oh wow. That's good.
Sorry, you take it back.
The Kenna Foundation, yeah. So Kenna means woman born of fire.
Mm.
Hmm.
And
Well,
so
that
I
is
like to
you.
think, I like to think of myself as having these two lives that I've had to, like the phoenix, be born again. And so
Mm.
and so
Mhm.
the Kenna Foundation, of course I was a little bit fearful, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, having TBI and nerve damage and cognitive issues, I mean, if I can get through that, there's nothing else. It's nothing
Still
really to fear
alive, so let's
about.
go.
Let's do it. So we started the Kenna Foundation. I started the Kenna Foundation to give back to girls, and on that list was the children's book series.
Okay.
Because I've dealt with high schoolers and junior high a lot in the past, the children's book series became a part of the Kenna Foundation, where the Kenna Foundation, assists in the publication of the books for the
Mhm.
kids. Each of the characters have some kind of challenge.
Mm.
Did it make me a little bit nervous starting the Kenna Foundation and getting back in front of people to do motivational speaking and keynote addresses? Yeah. Am I petrified each time? Not really, because there's a realness. I don't have the ability, if you will. Watch this one, Mia. I
Uh-oh.
don't have the ability to rush anymore. I,
Oh.
Wow. Okay, say that
I
again. You don't have the ability to rush.
You don't have the
Wow.
come on, somebody.
Wow.
so
Wow.
since I don't have that ability to
Mm.
rush and get through things so quickly and do
Mm.
1,001 multitasking, when it's
Mm.
time to speak in front of people or do something for the Kenna Foundation, I have to be really laser focused. I've found that has
Mm.
helped me slowing down, like Neil said, to slow down.
Ah.
It helps me to take all of my superpower and
Mhm.
be really, really successful with this task, with this
Ah.
group of people, with
Mhm.
this presentation. And I've accepted that in each presentation before I start, I tell them, look, I'm a unique soul. I'm going to tell you what's going on. Just so you know, I'm probably going to stutter somewhere throughout this.
Mhm.
You'll be okay. I'm okay with it. I just want to make sure you're okay. So
Mm.
I approached it from that standpoint because forever I have told children to be their own best advocate.
Mhm.
Ah,
And
very
then
true.
when I had to become my own, I was too afraid to speak up. Hence my
Mm.
brother
Mm.
going, it's okay, and tears filling my eyes. I felt like I couldn't fight back. But then I thought,
Mm.
I don't need to fight back. I just need to stand up. And so since I did that, I said I would not be afraid of anything that was thrown my way with the Kenna Foundation. And so that fear went out the way. When I speak to people, when I work with my team, I know that there are going to be challenges, and I'm going to be very forgiving of myself, just like I'm very forgiving of their unique, challenges that they may be processing.
Mhm.
We judge a lot in our
Yeah.
society where we shouldn't, and we
Amen.
don't allow, again, people to be great. In order to be successful, you've got to fail at something somewhere.
True.
Otherwise, you don't know where to iron out the kinks. You don't know these things. And so I think that keeping that in mind is what helped
Mhm.
me to go forward with the Kenna Foundation and do what we do for schools and children with superpowers and even adults like myself with
Mhm.
superpowers.
So it sounds like it's all about empowering people and giving them the voice that you found as a result of your journey. So what's next for the Kenna Foundation and what's next for you?
Oh, wow. Well, um, I think what's next is one we have, excuse me,
Mhm.
my next book is being published this week. So it's Orpheus the Ostrich, Anything is Possible.
Cool.
Um, he's an ostrich that thinks he can fly, and everybody keeps telling him, you cannot fly. You just cannot fly. I don't know why you keep trying to do this. You're never going to be able to fly. So that book comes out. So that's another book. We just finished up a coloring book for adults
Oh,
for social
Oh.
emotional wellness, for caregivers and
Okay.
teachers and educators and
awesome.
parents, just everyday people. And it's called Pause, Breathe, Color.
I
And
love
so
it.
so it's got activities in it for adults for social emotional awareness, because again, being good to
Awesome.
ourselves and empowering, as you said. So that's on the horizon. We just finished an art as wellness art show recently, and there was a fifth grader that won our art contest, and she created a superhero with superpowers.
Yay.
Gosh, this
And
is so beautiful.
so she will be written into my next book, which will be released next year. So
Awesome.
we have a couple of things that are in the works, and then we also have a event that we're partnering with, a conference. I believe it is a women's conference for
Hmm.
next year that's coming up for the Kenna Foundation. So there are a couple of
Awesome.
things that are in the works. We've been talking about maybe possibly later on doing a cartoon for the kids,
Hmm.
based on the book series. So that's being discussed. So the sky is not the limit. I know people say sky's the limit. It is not.
Not here.
Beyond the sky, there is no limit. So whatever comes up, if it helps children, if it helps families, women, young girls, helps sends them to college, throw it
Wow.
at us. We're ready to go. So that's what's coming up, and we welcome more.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely going to be promoting the coloring book and Orpheus. Finally, Orpheus is coming out on our website. So
Finally.
we definitely want to get
So
your
excited.
books
Yes.
into more people's hands. Now,
Yes.
I have been wondering this since I read the first book. Okay. Are you Ellie?
Ellie is
Only
based on
her.
me. Yes.
Only her.
Okay. Okay.
Ellie Ellie is based on me. Um some of the characters, they are based on real life people,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
um
okay.
with the anger management, Ellie and Bridget's first day of school. That one we just finished in Spanish. So that's going to be released too. So we were trying to get these projects done and then we step them. But the each of the characters are either slices of myself or slices of people that I know. We all battle with some of these unique challenges. And so, especially as children, it's important that we provide them with guidance, and training them up in the way and they should go. And so there is guidance, and that's our responsibility, right? So each of them having these unique challenges find some kind of strategy that they can use, that's realistic, because that's needed in their world, that's needed in our world. And so each of them are based on real people with real advice for real people.
Okay, I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. You have so many superpowers, and we always ask our guests, what is your superpower? But I guess if you could just kind of hone in on maybe one.
What?
What would be your main superpower that drives you?
I don't know. I guess it would be the understanding that I think it's the title of the Orpheus book, anything is possible. Is that just seeing things that we can see things with our natural eyes, but we really have to see beyond that. We have to see beyond the programming. And I would say that if there was any superpower that I have, it is the ability to release the things that I see in front of me.
So, okay.
Because if I just see what's in front of me, then that becomes discouraging. If I go into something thinking that, I'm going to have this done in microwave seconds. I mean, sometimes it's like that. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
You can get something done real quick, right? But sometimes there's a process. And I let go. I think my superpower is the ability to let go of control. There you go.
Wow.
Is to not see what's in front of me and try to control that, because once I misstep with that, everything is downhill. Because I just have to believe that it is possible and that it will happen and that there are steps. So that is my superpower, is the ability to let go of control and not use these eyes to see what's in front of me right now.
Sometimes what we see, mostly what we see, is so limiting.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're programmed to accept that, right?
Yeah.
We're programmed to believe that life is so hard that it is impossible.
Yes.
Supposed to not live past 18. So again, anything is possible. So we're programmed to believe and accept negativity. We're programmed to believe that if you are on the spectrum, you can't possibly live a wonderful life and a self-sufficient life. You can't possibly garner support. If you have TBI, or if you have anxiety, or manic depressive syndrome, you can't possibly, and we feed into that. And we start believing that. If we can just let go of all of that and know that that is a lie, the lie that we salt and pepper each day and it tastes so good. If we just stop sitting at the table of negativity and lies, we all can see and let go of that control, and we can see that anything really is possible.
Wow. Wow. Perfect way to end the show. This has been so, delightful, insightful, empowering. Yeah. I told you are all of that. Bag of chips.
Likewise.
You are all of that.
Love it. Just love it.
So, and just congratulations on everything that you're doing and what you're going to be doing. And yes, you will be back on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we have some stuff coming up. I'd be more than happy to come back whenever you have me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, you've been listening to and watching and getting some great information on the Super
Great information.
Radio Show. We are so grateful for Dr. Brooklin Gervais. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so we want to encourage you, if you like what you saw, if you like what you heard, make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you won't miss the next time we have Brooklyn back on the show. So from the Superpower Radio Show, this is Brenda Major and
Mia Dawson.
all right, and we will catch you next